I had so many spiritual experiences with my ex. My ex was a spiritual teacher and we had met online. And the first time we were going to have a video chat, I suddenly, out of the blue, smelled this strong scent of flowers, like roses. It almost smelled like I was in a funeral home. All of a sudden, out of the blue, and there were no flowers anywhere in the room. And that wasn't the only thing. For 3 months, actually it was even more than that, for many months after I met my ex, I kept hearing his name on this song that kept playing on the radio over and over again. It was an old song. It wasn't like it was a top hit or anything. It was an older song, and I swear I had never heard that song so often as I did in that time period. There was another time after we were living together that we were sitting on our couch in our apartment. We were watching this other spiritual teacher, and our egos felt like they were completely dissolving into each other's. And I'm not talking about just feeling connected to someone, a complete ego dissolution to where we were sitting in this bliss for hours and hours. And that happened another time too. And after all of those experiences, all of those spiritual synchronicities, there were more, I'm not going to go into all of them here, he still wasn't the one for me. You might be surprised. You might be asking, well, why? What happened? Well, it was because he was abusive. And so that's what I want to talk about today. The truth about spiritual experiences that you might be having that might have you convinced that you've met a twin flame or that you've met a soulmate, but it doesn't always mean what we think it does. And I see so many people staying in toxic or abusive relationships when they need to leave because they're having all of these spiritual experiences and thinking, well, I have to stay. This relationship is meant to be, right? That was me. I was deeply spiritual at the time. And these aren't just like passing things like seeing numbers or something. These feel like deeply profound experiences that you could be having. And it's very easy to fall into that trap of thinking that this is my person. I have to make it work. I have to be unconditionally loving while sacrificing yourself and staying in a relationship that's harmful to you. So here's the truth. Even if you are experiencing these spiritual synchronicities or these profound experiences, if somebody doesn't treat you well, they are not your person. And there's many people out there who will tell you what these signs mean and what's going on, but the truth is no one really knows. But here's what I can tell you from my perspective of going through these experiences on the spiritual journey and ending up leaving that relationship and getting to the place where I am now, where I am in a happy and healthy relationship, is those spiritual experiences actually meant nothing. Because just like so many spiritual experiences along the path of awakening, they're just things you go through. And this happened to me too for the positive experiences. They felt deeply profound and meaningful in the moment, but in the bigger picture, they were just experiences that I had. Not good, not bad, just spiritual experiences. And whereas before I thought it was a sign that I was supposed to be with this person, it turned out to not be. And while I was in that relationship, I thought these were signs from my soul that this was who I was supposed to stay with and continue to ignore not being treated well. But that wasn't true either. And there were times where I thought that maybe this was like a spiritual lesson that I had to learn. Like maybe I had to stay in this relationship to learn something, which also wasn't true. They were literally just experiences I was having. And I know that this wasn't the person I was supposed to be with because I'm not with them now. And some people may say, well, maybe you had to have that experience. Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is those were not signs that were trying to tell me something. They were simply just experiences that I had. So my message to you here, if you think you're going through a twin flame relationship or a soulmate relationship, but the person is not treating you well and you're feeling really bad in the relationship, but there's these signs, the signs are meaningless if that person is not treating you with respect, is not treating you with kindness. There has to be respect. There has to be kindness. There has to be love. There has to be empathy. They have to be willing to grow and change if what they're doing is hurting you. And And they have to be willing to put in as much effort into the relationship as you are. So you could be having all of the spiritual experiences, so profound, so huge, but if this person doesn't treat you well, get out of there. You're not supposed to be with them. Sometimes we get so deeply intertwined in a relationship like this that it's hard to break free. A term for this that I've heard people use is called a soul tie. And I can completely resonate with that. I would say that this is another word for a trauma bond, but in a spiritual sense, it feels even deeper. If this is you, I can help. I use energy healing to release the energies, the cords, the connections that are keeping you stuck in this type of dynamic with someone who really isn't good for you. So if that's you, click on the link in the description to book a free consultation with me. You can tell me about your situation and I'll let you know if I can help. Speaking of my ex, who was a spiritual teacher, who was also abusive, if you're interested in learning how to spot a fake guru like this, then check out this video here.